Welcome to Creating Your Life. This is episode 11, Self-Image and Self-Talk, Part 1. Hi, Mark Alexander here for more of Creating Your Life. Today we're going to continue talking a little bit about the adaptive unconscious, but primarily how it affects your self-image and your self-talk. And so this begins the part where we actually talk about how you start changing these pictures that could be held in your subconscious mind, how you begin releasing them and making the shift. So regarding the adaptive unconscious, remember it works kind of like an autopilot. Your subconscious repository stores things, anything repeated, anything you do over and over again, anything you say over and over again, anything you think or feel over and over again. It stores it and makes it automatic. The adaptive unconscious will try to match the inner and the outer pictures. And so it works to make sure the world makes sense, that your inner picture, whatever you have stored, matches what's out there, including how you behave. So the question is, why, for example, when I was quitting smoking, why didn't willpower work? Why didn't that work for me? Well, think of it this way. Think about being on a boat, and you're on a boat and you're fishing in a lake. And you have it set, you have the autopilot set to head north very slowly as you move across this lake. It's a large lake. And suppose you go up, you're not doing too well, so you go up and you turn the wheel of the boat and start heading east. Maybe you'll have better luck fishing if you head east. So you let go of the wheel and you go back to fishing. So what happens? Once you let go of the wheel, what happens? You start heading back north again because the autopilot is still set to head north. And since it's set for north, no matter what, you can override the autopilot, just like you with willpower can override your adaptive unconscious. You can, even though you have the picture of a smoker, you can override it. And then what happens when you let go? You slowly are brought back to the direction that's originally programmed. So what you have to do is you have to go in and change the autopilot. If I go in and I change the autopilot to head east automatically, then I can let go of the wheel and I'm heading east. Same is true with the adaptive unconscious and your subconscious repository. You have to go in and change the autopilot. How do you do that? The first thing you do is you start looking at yourself, what we call self-talk. This is the self-talk triangle. And this is important to understand that self-talk is connected to your self-image, which is connected to how you act in the world. So how does this work? You've noticed certainly that in your mind, you're talking to yourself every day. Some people all the time. Sometimes you're quiet, but for the most part, you're talking. You have thoughts. You have this inner dialogue. This is what self-talk is. And if you ever pay attention to your inner dialogue, rather than just let it go automatically, what you're thinking, if you stop and begin to detach yourself and start observing this talk, this inner dialogue as it goes along, and start thinking about what am I thinking about? What are you saying to yourself? What do you say about yourself? What do you say about the world? What are the thoughts that you are continually thinking? In some ways, they're like hamster wheels. You'll notice that some are automatic and they just run and run and run. And you just respond automatically. Oh, I don't like this. Oh, I like that. Oh, there's that person. That person is a happy person. That person is a bad person. That person is whatever you think about them. You're constantly evaluating and judging things with your self-talk, including yourself. So the self-talk, especially as you talk about yourself, creates that image of yourself in the subconscious repository. So as you think about yourself, you're having this image that forms, and then that image affects how you act in the world, which can also affect your self-talk. It becomes a cycle. In other words, how I talk to myself, my self-talk, reinforces what I perceive about myself, my self-image, which then forms a subconscious picture that controls how I act in the world. And how I act in the world can then stimulate positive or negative self-talk. So it becomes a kind of a triangle going over and over again. So if I want to make a change, if I want to do something different, before I had the self-image of a smoker, I talked like a smoker, I acted like a smoker, it was self-reinforcing, so I smoked for years. What did I do? I had to begin changing the self-talk. That's your entry into changing and breaking this cycle. I had to change my talk, how I talk to myself, rather than talking to myself like a smoker. And by self-talk, I mean more than just language. I'm thinking about picturing it and feeling it. I had to become a non-smoker first. As I started talking like a non-smoker and acting like a non-smoker and picturing that the cigarette was gone, slowly the image of myself as a smoker started to, come up against this new image that was coming in. And so I had to have my self-image shift to accommodate the new language. It took some time, but once that shift happened, change happens. This is how it works. This is what you do. You start working with the language and how you picture yourself. Self-talk programs your subconscious like a programmer programs a computer over and over again. Anything you're saying to yourself, this self-talk cycle, triangle, everything, it's going on all the time. And like I say, it can be like little hamster wheels in your head. Something that your mother said, something that your friends said, something can be programming you. I have a friend, I'll call him Ted, and Ted was at a point in his life where he told me this story some years ago about trying to be a success in his business, but he knew something was holding him back. And he understood these principles I'm talking about, probably in a different way than what I'm talking about, but he understood that he was the creator of his own world and that how the kind of thoughts he had in his head could affect the world. So he realized that he grew up with an older brother who used to sing him a song all the time for years. His brother would sing this song. Wrong, Ted, wrong again, wrong all the time, every day, every week, wrong, wrong, wrong. Wrong, Ted, wrong again, wrong all the time, every day, every week, wrong, wrong, wrong. You can imagine what it's like growing up with that and having that like a little hamster wheel in your head, always singing to you. That got into his subconscious repository, and his adaptive unconscious started adapting for that kind of language in his life. So what did he do? He had to go in and change it. He had to change the song because it was kind of this running hamster wheel. He went in and changed it to a different hamster wheel. He started singing to himself, singing, right, Ted, right again, right all the time, every day, every week, right, 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 Ted, right again, right all the time, every day, every week, right, right, right. He did this long enough till finally the old picture ejected, the new picture came in, and it wasn't holding him back anymore. That's all for now. We're going to continue with self-image and self-talk next time. In the meantime, my book, Creating Your Life, is out in paperback, and you can go to markandrealexander.com for more information.